Get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to kind of a novelty replay. This is a tank you're probably never ever going to see on my channel again, at least not one of my replays, because this was only the second battle I ever had in it, and it was my ace tanker battle, and I just don't ever really want to play it again. It's the TK, the Type 97 TK, which was the 2014 Wargaming birthday gift tank. It's tier 2, it's pretty terrible. I already had a Japanese crew available because I already I'd basically gotten to tier 5, the tier 5 medium tank on the Japanese tree. Do I even have that bought yet? Probably not. Via the light tank line, because the low tier Japanese, you've got a choice. You can play the low tier mediums or some low tier light tanks, and I decided to try the low tier light tanks, and they're all right. For low tier lights, they're nothing special, they're not particularly great, they're not particularly awful. This being a gift tank, well, in keeping with recent Christmas and birthday gift tanks from, you know, the last, say, 2 years, it's not great. I mean, it's pretty mediocre in all regards. It's definitely better than the T7 combat car and the Mark 6 light tank when they both came out, because those were both so dreadfully underpowered that it wasn't even funny. This at least gets the option of having some premium ammunition. I'm actually going to fast forward things a bit. We're going to put it ×2 speed, because the first part of the battle isn't that interesting. As you can see, I'm not top tier, and the enemy team has got an FCM 36 Pack 40, and when you're top tier in one of those things, well, that's just, yeah, that's really nice. It's actually one of the few premiums in the game where we could say it's borderline overpowered, just because of the set of characteristics it has. It's maybe not so much when it's bottom tier, but when it's top tier, it gets a 400 meter view range, and that's the most overpowered thing about it at tier 3. You know, a tier 3 tank with a 400 meter view range. There's not many of those around. On an open map like this, that gives it an extreme advantage. And you'll see by the amount of kills that the FCM racks up. Yeah, you'll see just how powerful it is, because most tanks at tier 2 and tier 3, they don't even have a 300 meter view range. You know, some of them have got less than. Others are just kind of struggling at around 310, 320. And even at tier 4, it's not that common to have over 350 meters. So even in, you know, a tier 5 battle, that 400 meter view range still can give you a serious advantage. Add to that, it's got a really good gun, it's got a pretty decent camo value. Well, yeah. Of course, the thing that balances against that is the FCM has one of the worst horsepower per ton ratios in the game. It is very slow, it doesn't turn that well, and it just moves around the battlefield very, very poorly. We can see from the minimap, by the way, where the FCM was last spotted, and that's not really surprising, because in a game like this, on a map like this, that's all you have to do in the FCM, is you have to just move outside the cap a bit and sit and let your view range do the work for you. So our team's just about run out of tanks. We're down to 4 versus 4, because although the FCM has been mopping up, our team has not done that badly either. We've had a couple of people manage to get a couple of kills. We actually had a micro mouse in our team, a 38H, and you don't see those around very much these days either. So there's their artillery, the Lloyd gun carriage. The gun on this, the TK is not good. It's well, we can actually just look at the stats now, and we'll go back to regular speed as well. It's got an average of 40 penetration with 45 damage. Now for a tier 2 tank, that's not exactly, you know, it's not totally awful, but it's far from great. So it's now me and our tier 2 artillery, the T57. And like its big brother, the T57 Heavy, it also gets heat ammo. I don't know why I'm just throwing that out there, but I am. I actually know people that use that as their, like, their seal clubbing tier 2 artillery. And I think the T57 was actually even possibly the first ever artillery I played. Unlike many people with their first artillery, I didn't even know about going into the aerial overhead view. I just played it as a tank destroyer. And back when I first started playing, you could do that. You really could. It had very, very good frontal armour. for its tier. If you're top tier, you could just run around and derp things in the face, but of course there have been artillery nerfs since that point. So, yeah, FCM, unsurprisingly, he saw me before I saw him, so we're not going to go that way. That's certain death. I've taken the only hit I can afford to take. The T-57 unfortunately has been taken down by the enemy AT-1, but the AT-1 got tracked in the process and I was able to finish him off. So now, we're now 1 versus 1, and this is where things got a bit interesting, because I'm in my underpowered tier 2 gift tank with a pretty lackluster gun and not even 100% crew. And the guy in the FCM is sitting there with 5 kills. I don't know what health he's got. I can actually hit the Alt tab, and as you can see, he's never been in range of me, so I have absolutely no idea what his remaining health is. And also note, I don't have any HE ammo, and this is, although the HE ammo on this tank is terrible, it really is bad. The FCM has got no armor in the superstructure, it really doesn't. So unless I got unlucky and hit the gun or something like that, you know, HE ammo would actually be preferable. But no, I'm just using a full loadout of the standard AP. So the one thing I do have going for me is I have got way better mobility. Even though this isn't exactly a fast low tier light tank, I still have way better mobility than an FCM is ever going to have. I know he's going to be tied to the cap circle. He's not going to be able to move very far, very fast. So I've got a rough idea of where he is. And I can use that knowledge of his tank to my advantage. And actually what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to keep him guessing. I'm deliberately taking my time because I know there's a lot of time left on the clock. There's 6 minutes 20 seconds, so I'm not in a rush here because it's not like we're ticking down to the final seconds of the battle. I don't have to rush in and take a massive risk. I can afford to take my time. I can afford to try and use my few advantages over him to actually gather some intelligence and maybe get the drop on him, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to come up from an unexpected direction, and I'm deliberately staying off his radar for a long time, or so I hope, to leave him guessing as to whereabouts I'm going to come up from. For all he knows, I might be running away to try and make this a draw. The FCM's never going to get to our cap in time to actually cap it. And you might think, oh, well, there's still 5+ minutes, you know. Of course he can get down the middle. You haven't seen how slowly the FCM moves. He would spend at least 4 of those minutes getting to the cap. Going down the middle wouldn't be such a problem, but getting up the slope to the cap, yeah, would be. Anyway, there we go. He was looking in the wrong direction. I managed to get a shot in. RNG is, yeah, is kind to me. It lets the shot go in because, like I said, that this tank does not have a fully trained crew, and that was not a fully aimed shot. So that's kind of lucky. I also now know, crucially, he's on low health. So I got that one shot in, and if it was an HE shell, I might even have just killed him there and then. So it's a pity, you know, again, pity I don't have HE. And I'm thinking what to do at this point. He kind of knows where I'm going to come from now. So again, I'm repositioning, I'm relocating, and I'm using my map knowledge because, as you see here, the edge of the cap circle, there's a kind of a dip. The cap circle in this, you know, on this spawn, on this map, it's not on strictly flat ground, and I'm in quite a low profile tank. So I figure I'm going to sit here. I'm going to make him come to me because I know now he's got very little health. 1 hit is all he's got. I'm just going to shoot those boxes out the way, and bam, there we go. And I felt rather pleased by that result because the FCM in that kind of matchmaking, as I've said, it's pretty damn overpowered when it's top tier. And I actually managed to outplay an FCM Seal Clubber in my not very good, crappy tier 2 gift tank with a terrible gun. And I didn't even do that much damage, you know, 258, okay, given it's a tier 2 tank. But, I mean, that was enough for an ace tanker with a base XP of 551, because nobody's played this thing. It's pretty bad. The FCM, you know, unsurprisingly, with his 5 kills, and if he'd killed me, it would have been a top gun, was by far the top of the enemy team. He had 818 damage in a tier 3 match. That was a fairly high proportion of our team's hit points. So, yeah, like I said, a bit overpowered, but just the fact that despite all his advantages, I was able to outplay that guy. That's one of those things where sometimes, even if you have the deck stacked against you, if you apply a bit of brain power to the situation, and if you've got time to work with, because sometimes time is a big factor. Sometimes if you're rushed into doing things, it can work out very badly. But if you've got time to try and confuse the enemy, come at them from an unexpected direction, you know, that can work really well in your favour. So I did have a couple of advantages, and I did my best to exploit those advantages. And in the end, I was triumphant. So my second ever battle in the TK, and my ace tanker, and I'm probably never going to play it again because it's pretty bad. But there you go, a bit of a novelty, like I said, and hopefully there's some sort of semi-useful tactical advice in this match as well. You know, things to think about when you're playing your own low-tier battles, when you're in that kind of situation, 1 versus 1, and somebody else seems to have the cards all in their favour. Well, you know, think about things a bit. Maybe you've got some advantages that you could exploit. So, if you enjoyed this replay, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.